a beautiful ready-made 30, 60, 90-day plan.
We now have built inside of Agently an 88% success rate within those 2 weeks. And then our number one goal for the 30, 60, 90 is get them to collect a physical paycheck.
All right, so let's get started. Thank you everyone who joined. We already have 21 people on this show. We're expecting around 80, but let's give everyone some time. I'm going to be co-hosting this together with Zach. Zach is, I have a little note about you, Zach, here. So Zach is obviously sales coach at Fam Realty Group, one of the top teams in South California. If there is a great person to talk about agent onboarding, that's probably you, Zach. We're going to get a lot of insights firsthand from people who are running massive teams. But before we go into that, I just want to give you a quick preview of what we're going to cover today. So this one is, we call it part masterclass and part workshop. By the end of this call, we're hoping that all of you will walk away with a very specific 30, 60, 90-day plan that will help you increase success rate for every new agent you recruit, because we're all focusing on recruitment, and of course that's the right thing to do. But when we start talking about onboarding, it's actually the process that exists in any company, and every single new agent goes through that process, whether you want it or not. So that is one process that meets every agent when they join. And surprisingly, we're also going to talk about how easy it is to get this wrong. But obviously, the purpose for this call is to get it right. So at the end of this call, we will hand out a beautiful ready-made 30, 60, 90-day plan. And we're literally going to co-design it with Zach. So now, please, round of applause for Zach. Zach, thank you so much for finding time in your busy schedule to co-host this with us. I wanted to talk specifically to you because of how much success your team is having, and I know how massive you guys are on recruitment, and I know that you're building systems for other teams as well. So I thought, who's a better fit? So welcome and thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me. Onboarding has been the lifeline of FAM's success for probably about the last 3 years. So 3.5 years. We had a major uptick in production in GCI and then also in the number of agents that were joining. But then a key part that a lot of us focus on attraction, but you need to retain the agents that you attract. And for us, we built that into our onboarding. So during our 2 week onboarding, our 30, 60, 90 that we're running these agents through, it works great as an attraction piece to get a lot of agents in. But our number one goal is to get an agent into production as quick as humanly possible, because a agent that's making GCI is a happy agent. And so we built our 2 week fam camp, which we now have built inside of Agently for them to run through Agently. We have an 88% success rate of agents that go through fam camp and signing an agreement within those 2 weeks. And so we've created momentum within just a 2 week period. They have a signed agreement, a signed client, they're in momentum, they feel good. And then our number one goal for the 30, 60, 90 is get them to collect a physical paycheck during that time, because not only does that benefit the agent, but it benefits the team leader as well. So for any of the team leaders that are on here, our number one goal should be to get someone into production as quick as possible. And then if they actually feel like during the onboarding, they learned all the systems, they know how to run your playbook, they have a clear path to win, you keep a really, really high retention from the agents as well. So beginning of the year, we were about 18 agents. We are over 50 agents now. So we've been going pretty hard on recruiting. And the goal is that we'll end this year at about 250 million in production.
That's amazing. Guys, please put your questions so you have a little, this is not just a Zoom, right? There's a little Q&A thing in here. Want to put any questions, Zach, you can do that in the Q&A section. I will not do this boring stuff where we wait till the end and then ask everything. No, we're just going to go with everything. This is not just us talking. We want to get you involved. If you have questions, this is the opportunity to ask.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I work with a lot of top team leaders, the US on onboarding, traction. So anything you guys want to throw in the chat, open book for you guys today.
And so you already mentioned about agreement within 2 weeks, if I got it correctly, and then collect the actual pays. So I'll begin with this. Why the first 90 days so critical? Like about this momentum, but why is it so critical? So what's wrong with taking it easy, give agents some time to figure things out and then try to kind of the training later? So what's up with this? Like,
Big believer that one of the number one metrics that is not being tracked, a lot of teams, and I think it's one of the most important metrics is speed. You have speed, that's how you get into momentum quickly. And so what we learned just from our math users, we're big components of math and having actual data behind the decisions that we're making. And so we found that if we can get an agent actually paid within the first 90 days, retention was higher, but two, and I don't think this should be any shocker, they're going to do about 3 times the production within that 12-month period they would have done otherwise because they're in momentum. Anybody watching this knows that when you're in momentum, this business is really easy. It's when you're out of momentum, business gets really hard. That you feel
mhm.
like you're restarting and you have this big lift, and everything. And so we just made it our absolute goal that if we can get someone paid within the first 90 days, one, time put into the agent, GCI quickly as a team, we're getting a quick return on our investment. Then as the agent as well, they're investing their time into the team. So if they feel like they got that quick return investment as well, they're very enrolled what you're asking them to do. So we even have like producers that have joined the team that have done transactions in the last years, and we run them through the exact same 90-day plan we do anybody
Wow.
else. We have it designed for an agent to win at the highest level. So no matter where you are in production, still want to win at the highest level. It doesn't matter. So new agent, experienced agent. I have a fam camp going on right now. Two of the agents in that camp are that have been in the industry for 10 plus years. So our, I would say 90%, no pun intended, of our goal and our focus is all focused on the first 90 days. Because if you do that very successfully, the following rest of the year becomes so much easier because once again, if you have a team of agents that are in momentum, you don't get phone calls from all of them every single day what to do. It's the agents that are not out on appointments, are have signed clients, don't have escrows. They're typically the ones call the most Zooms and take that big lift. So even if you had agents and not 50 and you only had three of them that were actually like and going, you have a heavy lift. You're
Yeah.
back now. So if you can just crush the first 90 days, once again, it sets the agent up to win at a really high level, which at the same time is also setting us up to win at the highest level as leadership.
No, it makes sense. And here's a question from Amy. So, Connor, first of all, yes, this is recorded, but Amy asks, imagine this. Saw a producer walks through the door, and you're like, hey, you have to do the fam camp. And they're like, what? Really? I'm bringing hundreds and hundreds of transactions with me. Do you really want me to go through that? Do you get any pushback on it?
So I'll get pushback like very few times. To be
Mhm.
super candid with you, the high level producers are normally the ones that I get the least pushback from because they understand that learning all the tech and all the systems is crucial to their success. If they were to switch companies, that they're switching into a new CRM, a new calendar system, like taking on all this new tech and new systems for us, we have our TCs write the offers, write the RLAs, do a lot of
Mhm.
this. So they need to know how to do that to be leveraged. So what's important about this? Because I used to have a big story that I created in my head that these big producers didn't need onboarding, that they could just
Mhm.
jump on and produce. And what happens is you're actually taking this big producer from an environment that they're already successful in, assuming that they're joining your environment because there's something that you're offering, level than their other one was. And then what happens is you
Yeah.
just throw them in that new environment and say, go be successful. And what happens is their production drops instead of raises, or it stays the same. That's the worst case. Once again, they're not enrolled in what you're doing. So the last few agents I just went through camp, we just did a camp last month. Group, I had 11 agents in that camp. One of them, 60 transactions past few years. Another agent, 40 plus. The agents, 160 transactions in the last 5 years. Camper 3 months ago, 212 in the last
Crazy.
5 years. These are like producers. And so I actually create a story in our head that they don't want to be onboarded. But when I actually talk with them and I say, hey, I want to make sure you're set up to win at the highest level. You would agree, right? They go, awesome. We have this 2 week onboarding that I'm going to put you through that's going to let you learn all your tech, how to use our systems, how to be leveraged, and how to win with us at the highest level. I would
Hmm.
love for you to go through it. And almost never do I get kickback. Who I get kickback from is the brand new agent who joins and says, well, how quick do I get leads? I just want to be on leads. And they're usually the ones that want to skip onboarding, and move on to the next step right away. You just have to make sure, though, once again, our onboarding is designed for a producer. I'm not training them how to write, like fill out an offer, our 2 week camp. Sure, it's catered to that avatar agent that you're looking to have on the team.
Makes sense. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna start getting a lot more questions like, who do you get all those crazy top producers from? We'll
Yeah,
have to do a separate webinar on recruitment, but
definitely.
let's leave it onto the next one. So, okay, you mentioned a couple of things. Train on your CRM, train on your calendar. So let's get into specifics of it. So most teams do today, and well informed about this because run onboarding for hundreds and hundreds. I think it's around 200 right now. And I can see the standard onboarding checklist that they send us. It's
Yeah.
your license transfer, it's the ICA, it's your CRM, of course, transaction management training, your calendars, and then most of the time, that's where it ends. So from that point, it's good luck, best, all set up, go in and absolutely kill it. That's pretty much it. That's that we see, and this is something we're able to run very easily. Mentioned about client under contract in the first 2 weeks. Now, you have to say that Zach's team is a little bit of an outlier. Every team is able to do that, both teams and brokerages. So the stats we ran was don't have a single client on the contract within 90. What is the chance of them producing at all? And that chance is 82%. So basically, if we see no client under contract within 90, the chance of that agent ever closing a deal for you is 1/8. Does that surprise you at all?
I get it. Yeah, it makes sense. But I think that first 90 days is so important because I've seen agents that come in our environment, and don't get me wrong, there's variables every now and then, like, oh, I ran into a crazy family situation. They kind of paused for a second. There's some variables, but for your standard agent, if they're actually following your roadmap, win and they're not producing within 90 days, this is my personal belief on it. I get some kickback on it. They're just not the right environment for them. A lot of different environments out there, and I'm not crazy to say that our environment is perfect for everybody, but for our avatar agent, the person that we want to work with and have in our environment, that's who we're set up to win with at the highest level. So if somebody's 90 days in and they don't have an under contract or some momentum, I don't want to continue them through an environment that's not a good fit for them because that's not good for either of us to do.
So a couple of questions on that. What do you do if they don't have a client on the contract or in 2 weeks? Putting aside all the situations where something happened that they couldn't, do
Yeah.
you consider letting agents go?
And just to add some clarity, so we get a signed agreement in 2 weeks. So a
Mhm.
signed BBRA or a signed listing, and
Yeah.
then they're going under contract or collecting a paycheck within those first 90 days. And it goes two ways. If somebody has shown up at a really high level, all the Zooms, they've done all this stuff, and I can see a coachable moment that we can work on together. What I'll do is I'll draft a 90-day plan and I check in on it monthly. And
Mhm.
so it's not like, hey, here's 90 days, you have 90 more days to be on the team. I say, hey, here's the 90-day plan for us to be partners. We're going to check on this 30, 60, and 90-day pass offs. And so, for example, if I give them the 90-day plan and we check in on the first 30 days and they did not follow that plan, that is when we would part ways. And
Mhm.
I'd
Mhm.
say, hey, I just think that we're not the right environment for you. But if they're following the plan, they're actually doing all the things we're giving them to do, I'll continue to move them through that 90-day plan. And let's be super real with everybody on here today, if everyone's okay with that. If an agent's actually doing all the steps that you're giving them to do, actually doing them all, what is the likelihood that they're not producing within that period of time? It's very slim. We're not in a complicated industry. We're just in an industry that takes some hard work. Is all it is. And so That's how I do it. I give them this 90-day plan and I check in on it. So 60 days in, if they haven't done the stuff, we'll part ways. We'll move on.
Another question from Dennis. Is it live or Zoom?
Great.
Your
It's a great question. The way that I do my 2 week boot camp is I do it over Zoom for 1 hour a day. And so the way that I have FAM camp structured is it's 2 weeks and we do 1 hour, 5 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So it's early. So my first test for an agent joining our team is can you show up to a Zoom for 2 weeks at 7 a.m. every single morning? Not a super hard buy or not a super high bar to set. And then I'm with them for that 1 hour a day in the morning from 7 to 8 a.m. And then the rest of their day is checklist out with items that they need to do. And that's what they're doing inside of Agently, is doing all those checklist items and stuff like that. But that 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday, I'm with them live for 1 hour. So it's pretty leveraged. I had 9 agents join our team last month. And I was with them for an hour a day for 2 weeks, and they're set up to win. I would consider that pretty leveraged out at that point.
and that's a pretty amazing filter. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's a filter on its own, right? How much of commitment is there?
Are you showing up in your pajamas?
Yeah.
Out. Yeah, I'll talk with you once or twice about it. I'll be like, hey, you got to show up to this. You'd be showing up to a client. So do they need to be in suit and tie? No. But we're asking them, hey, be on this Zoom, be on camera. If you're off camera, I will boot you from the Zoom. I'll request you to turn on your camera one or two times, and I'll boot you from that Zoom. And if you get booted from 2 Zooms during camp, I'll just ask that you restart camp and just restart it from the beginning.
So let me ask you this. Out of 9 new agents, how many survived the 2 weeks?
So I brought on 9. We had 13 that were in camp. So I
Okay.
brought on 9 out of the 13. Now, once again, that was a camp of a lot of producers. So I wasn't shocked that so many of them made it through. I will tell you guys the biggest empowering moment that we learned as a team was saying no to agents joining our team. That's when you really start to lock in on, because I will just tell you the biggest brag that I have as a sales leader right now is not that we have 50 agents. It's not our GCI. It's not our production. It's that we have 50 plus partners that we're actually happy with. I'm not nervous to call any of them. We're happy running our business and all the agents in. It's because we had this empowering moment of the end of camp of saying, hey, we're not a good fit for each other. And I
Hmm.
don't place this as a you thing. Hey, you failed camps. So that means it has nothing to do with pass or fail. It just has to do with, hey, based on my experience of running camps, I don't think that we're going to be the best fit for each other. So I'm
Yeah.
going to not bring you onto the team. And the worst case scenario, they just got 2 weeks of the best training that an agent could have. So it's still a win-win at the end of the day.
Just a little extra question on this one. So, do they know in advance that they can get a no if they're not meeting the standards?
100%. So camp is very simple. The way that we run all our accountability is I'm only going to hold someone accountable to what I'm willing to hold someone accountable to. Let that
Hmm.
kind of just sit for a second. So if you have this really high call goal, but you're not willing to let someone go because they're not doing that call goal, you shouldn't have that as accountability. It's just a
Hmm.
suggestion at that point. And so I tell them, hey, fam camp has been whittled down to only the items that have to do with you making more GCI. That is
Mm.
all camp is about. And so I go, if
Wow.
you're willing to do all these items, we will make more GCI together. And if you're not willing to do all these items, it shows that our future relationship as business partners may not be the best partnership. So I tell them this during day one. So that was yesterday for our current camp. And I say, this 2 weeks is designed for you to test us, make sure we're a good fit, but it's also for us to test with you and make sure that we also believe that you're a good fit. So it's a two-way street. They also have the opportunity at the end of camp to go, hey, Zach, you guys have way too much tech for me. And I don't think I'm going to be successful here. And I go, good, we found that out now instead of 6 months down the road during this. So it's made I'm a big believer of clear expectations, and I feel okay letting someone go from our environment if they're not willing to follow these steps because it's such a base level bar that we're setting. So that's my number one suggestion to any team leaders is if you're not willing to actually remove our conversation goal used to be 200 a month. but I wasn't letting agents go for not doing that. So I lowered it down to 100. And now at 100, I'm willing to let someone go if they
Mhm.
can't hit that conversation standard every month or get an escrow. So set your accountabilities to things that you're actually willing to part ways with somebody on. And camp has been designed to be exactly that.
This is crazy good because I see the opposite side of the spectrum of having poor onboarding is having that extreme list where the question is like, do you really want agents to do all of that? How is that? I don't know. Getting a gym membership can be part of.
Totally.
I understand the good intent here to look after their well-being. It makes sense. But like, how can it be a requirement as part of the onboarding, which is a little crazy?
Yeah. We also have to remember agents are salespeople. They're like they want to go sell. They're not the back end stuff is not their specialty by any means. It's not even my specialty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a sales guy. And so you have to set it up for that person to win at the highest level because that's what's going to make you win. And so once again, our week one of camp, literally the checklist items could not be more basic. It's add 10 SOI to the system.
Are we going to talk
Text.
about that in a second?
Oh, cool. I won't give it
So
all away.
let me ask you this, and I have Connor mirroring this question. So I have here, should completing those checklists, is it your productivity standard? So the other way to ask this, is a commitment required of you for them in order to join your team? So I run into issues with agents' schedules and commitment levels when onboarding. So essentially agents being busy, too
So
busy for onboarding.
if I can just be one, if I can be super direct, there's two things that are happening here. Either one, it may not be the right agent for your team, is super possible. If someone will not make time for onboarding, it's possible that they're just not the right fit for your team. They're not your avatar agent. Once again, the empowering feeling of saying no. And two, this is crucial. And I learned this at a high level from years of not doing it. It means because you always have to look at the top. We always have to take accountability as team leaders and sales leaders. It's on us. What did I not do to enroll this person into onboarding? Because what's
Mm,
happening is if their other schedule is too important, that means that we have not added enough value onto what this onboarding is giving them. Remember, everybody's brain is working in what's in it for me, not what's in it for we. It's always what's in it
mhm.
for me. And so, once again, I tell them very clearly this is your path to being a partner on our team. This has been designed specifically to set you up to win at the highest level, earn you more GCI, and leverage out your business. And if that 1 hour a day, that's not important enough for them to go and do that, just to be super candid, we are not the right fit for that person. So one, look and make sure you have the right agent. Because if you have someone who's so part-time that they can't even give enough time for onboarding, how do you think they're going to give enough time for their real estate business? And that's just a
Yeah.
conversation you have to have with them and sit down and tell them that. Two, look at how you sold your onboarding. Did you just say, hey, this is our onboarding and you have to go through it, and that's how you make your way through? And did you actually enroll them wanting to be part of the onboarding?
That makes a ton of sense. And just again, maybe a follow-up question on that. So when you say, what's your best practice of on-rolling? I understand you just mentioned, hey, this is the thing that's going to put you into production fast. Any other way to enroll them into this?
And hopefully this doesn't come off in a cocky way, you guys, but it's a privilege to be partnered with us. It's not something that's given for free. We get 100+ applications a month of people applying to be part of FAM. 99% of those people are not a good fit to be part of our team because they're applying through the job site or something like that because they're either too part-time or they're that. And so when I actually get with somebody that it makes sense for, and
Hmm.
I attach onboarding to whatever their goal is. Because if
Yeah.
we've done a good enough job meeting with the agent, I know what their actual goal is. So, for example, Scott, who joined our team, his goal is not to raise his production.
Mhm.
He's producing at a high level. His goal was to do it in a more leveraged way so he could actually go spend time with his husband, actually go on vacations and go do these things. So what I told him is, hey man, fam camp and this onboarding, it's going to show you how to leverage out. It's going to show you
Hmm.
how to use the CRM, how to use the transaction team, how to use the open house assistant, and do
Yeah.
all these things so you can be more leveraged. So remember, if it's always what's in it for me, you got to make sure it's attached to what's important to them. So I have my standards that I'll say for your standard agent. Hey, this is what's going to set you up to boost GCI. This is what's setting us up to win as partners. It's going to put you in momentum in 2 weeks and get you a signed agreement in two
Hmm.
weeks. And that can be enough to enroll someone. But for these higher level producers, same thing. Like when I brought on the agent that did over 200 transactions, you think there's a ton in camp that is new to him. It's mainly the
Yeah.
tech and everything that's there. So I told him that, hey man, if you come in our environment and you don't know how to do these steps, this environment's actually going to be harder for you than where you're at now. So let me help you set you up to win.
Hmm.
And if somebody is not willing to let you help them set them up to win, once again, are we entering the right relationship? Here
No,
is the main thing that goes across my head.
that makes a ton of sense. And I want to also do a little disclaimer. So, Zach is, of course, talking about a top performing real estate team. These rules are not universal. So, if you're running, for example, a brokerage, don't rush to reject all the people
Totally.
who want to join your brokerage because there are very different standards for different teams and different brokerages. So don't take that as a direct advice for your business. We're just looking here at what the optimal onboarding systems may look like, specifically for high producing real estate teams.
Everything's been built around our avatar agent, which we are a high overhead team. FAM costs a lot to run. We provide a lot. And so we have to have an agent that produces. Otherwise, we will literally lose money every month. And so that's why for us, our avatar agent is this higher producing, higher in production agent. And we need to have these standards. But if you're running a larger environment like a market center or a brokerage or something like that, once again, just make your accountability what you're willing to enforce. So doesn't mean 100 conversations is the answer. It may be 25 conversations. You know what I mean? And if you're willing to enforce that, great. Then that's what matters.
And talking about high cost of running a team, so I assume you offer leads to your agents, of course. So I want to ask you this, is FamCamp the only barrier to entry, or is there some sort of separate lead certification program in place before agents get access to your leads pool?
That's a great question. So we are not a team that provides leads. We're a team that has a lead team. Just
Okay.
to let that sit again. We are not a team that provides leads. We are a team that has a lead team. And this was a massive break for us. It was a massive game changer. So not leads are once again, they're a privilege. They're not something that's standard. And so when you go through camp, we put you in the lead pond, which is older leads. So right out of camp, you get into the older pond, which is leads that are 6 months old, stuff like that. And they pull a
Mm-hmm.
ton of appointments out of there, but it's not like the fresh, hot, like a Google call-in lead that's going out to that agent. I ask a few things. One, to be on our full-time leads where you're getting the new leads because we do cash offer sellers, we do buyer leads. Once again, we're doing high quality leads. I put them on leads after their 90 days. If they are
Mm-hmm.
a high level producer, this is the only part of the onboarding that I will maybe change for them is if I actually believe, which once again, just to be super honest with you guys, most of our high level producers are not coming from crushing a bunch of leads. They're high level
Mm-hmm.
producers from SOI, referrals, and stuff like that. And so they're not lead masters, lead conversion
Yeah.
master. And so I have a section that they pass off on trainings. It's simple, they just watch them. And then I do a pass off with them where they book with me. And so if you can book with me and show me, don't tell me, show me that you know how to convert a lead, I'll put you on leads right away. I'm good with it because that's a benefit for us and you. But for other agents, you have to make it through the 90 days. And then you still have to be able to pass off on those items to get on leads. So candidly, out of our 50 plus agents, I would say 20 to 25 of them are on active lead flow.
All right. And so, aside from, and when you say book with me, do you mean you actually kind of role play with them, or they're on the phone and
Oh,
they're
they book with me. They literally book a Zoom with me, and I'm like, and I make it different every time. So
yeah.
it's not just this. And I'm like, cool. Hey, I'll be like, I'm a buyer, and they're like, and I'm like, hey, I don't want 3% GCI on the BBRA, and I just start throwing stuff at them. Hey, where would I find a seller lead, and then what would I do if I booked an appointment with them? And
Yeah,
have
yeah.
them show me on their screen what to do. So it's not like a, hey, come on and show me the words to a script. that are
Yeah.
there. We all know it takes more than a script to convert leads at a high level. So I run them through this 30-minute pass off where I
Yeah.
feel comfortable that they know how to convert leads. That means they have to know where to find them, what to do with them when they once they do talk to them, and they need to understand the sales process of converting them. So those are I'd say those are the three big pillars that I'm focused on.
And this is totally off the script, but I don't think you actually saw that yet. But if you guys, any of you listening, if you would like your agents to role play, and I think Connor mentioned that he runs a team of 350 agents, so running
Nice.
recruitment onboarding for an office. So in case of Connor, where you're not able to do that face to face like Zach does, side agently, so that's where Zach's onboarding lives. We have this tool which allows agents to role play and practice scripts with AI so that you can build your lead certification program or any other training. You can see, for example, if it's a Zillow Flex lead and they're saying we're just looking or not ready yet, you are now able to put your own ideal response. So this is not canned responses. You can enter anything you want as your ideal objection handler. And then for agents, they actually see the objection. We're looking, not ready yet. They see your ideal response. And for them to pass this, they need to record their audio response. Something like, I totally understand that you're just looking and it's great that you're exploring the market in advance, but that actually puts you in a strong position when the right opportunity is in the market. You can make a move fast. So if that was agent's response, AI will then evaluate my response against that ideal script provided by you, and it will score it on a scale of 0 to 100. And if you score 80 or above, you pass and you can go on to the next objection. And if you fail, you'll get some feedback on what to improve, so you can give it another try. So essentially, if you can't scale yourself like Zach does, you can have this AI basically role playing scripts with your agents until they get it right. And that is something you can use as well.
That'd be huge because Connor, I work with a few teams right now that are very large, 150, 200, 400, etc. agents, like huge agents, and that's usually their number one problem is leverage. How am I going to leverage out now this onboarding out to that many people? And I could see something like that doing a really, really good job at it.
Just moving on, I absolutely don't want to steal your fam camp at all, but I do.
I'm good, man. I'm an open
uh,
book. I don't.
so basically, let's imagine this. Oh, and no, actually, one more question before that. So when you say train, and you mentioned systems training, so tool, CRM, do you also train on more general stuff like skills training for buyer consultation, listing appointments? Is that also part of FamCamp?
Yep. So the way that we run camp is because it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks for a reason. Week one is 100% focused on tech. And then right before the weekend, we train them on our mega open house system because a huge portion of our business is open houses. An average weekend for us is about 25 to 30 open houses. And we do really good at signing the agreement inside the house. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
where we get a lot of these people in camp, their first signed agreement is
Mm-hmm.
from this mega open house that we do with them. But outside of that, week one is entirely focused on tech. Week
Mm-hmm.
two, we're entirely focused on sales. So we're going over what is a buyer lead? What are they
Mm-hmm.
seeing? Where do they come from? Why are they ending up in our system? What do we say with them? What do we do during the buyer discovery to sign them? And essentially, the whole training during that second week is the sales process from first conversation to signed agreement. Because remember, I have my goal for camp, which is how many agents can sign an agreement. And so for us, fam camp every month is worth about a minimum of 5 new signed agreements coming into the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal is just to get as many of them signed because I know from there, the 30, 60, 90 is going to take care of the rest and make it easy for them. So essentially, I removed everything out of fam camp that doesn't have to do with getting them a signed agreement. All the other stuff has essentially been removed out. You need to know how to find the leads. You need to know how to use the tech that we're using to be able to do that. So that's
Yeah.
why that's so important. But then, like, once again, that's why I'm not training them how to write an offer. I'm not training them how to do all these things. That all happens in the 30, 60, 90 that we're going into our 7 steps to a winning offer and in all those other on all those other parts. So the biggest unlock that I've had with other team leaders is for an agent to end onboarding, what would be like for you the most winning position for them to be in? For us, it was a signed agreement. For some people,
Hmm.
it's just a met appointment. If you're running
Hmm.
this massive environment and you're bringing on 20, 30, 40 agents a month and all this, imagine if all of them just met an appointment during that time. That'd be huge. But so for us, we picked sign an agreement, and that's what the entirety of camp was designed around is just getting you a signed agreement.
This is so crazy good. So you basically reverse engineered it. Typically, a lot of the onboardings end with the sign agreement.
Yep.
Yours begins with sign agreement, and that what lays the path for the rest of the 30, 60, 90 to go smoothly. Because
Yep.
now with the sign agreement, agents gonna want to write that contract, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like they taking a training for the sake of training. They just want to get to their commission check. That
Yep.
makes a ton of sense. This is,
And tell me that's a hard product to sell. I just
oh
talk to
yeah.
agents and I'm like, hey, what if I could get you a signed agreement in 2 weeks? Would that add some more momentum to your business? And they're like, that'd be great. And it makes it easy. So that's why don't sell the onboarding, sell the outcome of the onboarding. You should have more people that want to attend it. I had somebody DM me on Instagram 2 weeks ago and he literally said, hey man, what's Fam Camp? I want to join. Just
Mhm.
because he's heard about the outcomes that people have from Fam Camp.
That's an amazing insight. And guys, may I remind you, so we have a Q&A section. If you want to ask anything directly, if you have any questions for Zach, just put them in the Q&A section. It's in the panel below. So it's a little different to your standard Zoom. It has this Q&A thing in here. All right, and now let's get to the probably the most important part. Imagine this. You answered some of this, but agent finished all the 2 weeks training, right? They don't know how to write a contract, so ignore that. But now, what's the 30, 60, 90-day looks like after those first 2 weeks? What happens then? What is it you want them to do on a weekly basis?
So remember, we have a goal for each section. So our goal for camp is a signed agreement. Our goal for 30, 60, 90 is you have a paycheck. And so taking a wild guess, what do you think our 30, 60, 90 is all designed around? It's all designed around getting that escrow and getting it in. So the first 30 days, we're focused more on daily routine. What is your day to day going to look like? So we actually have a daily checklist for agents to follow. So it's just getting them in the habit of running that checklist, getting their conversations. We open them up to a little bit more tech side of our systems and everything.
Yeah.
So 30 days is kind of just getting them comfortable now in their business now that they've officially onboarded and come over. The 60-day mark is where we go deep into the transactional side. And by transactional, back end
Hmm.
transactional. So during the 60-day mark, we're running them through how to use the offer forms, how to get the RLA signed. We're going over our 7 steps to a winning offer. We're going into now a lot of that back end. We have a transaction checklist that they follow once it goes into escrow, things like
Hmm.
that. And then the 90-day is actually our slimmest out of the 30 and the 60. The 30 is the heaviest. You're taking on the most info. 60 brings it down just a little bit, and 90 is essentially just activities. At that point, we've covered everything that we could possibly need to cover. You're on sales trainings with the team weekly. So the only thing that's left is the activities to go and run the activities. So all I really ask for the 90 days is that you have 100 conversations, 100 2-minute conversations, or you meet 4 appointments, or you get an escrow. One of those
Hmm.
three.
A
You do one
week,
of those
every
three
week.
things, you're running. No, 100 a month. Our bar is low. I'm telling you, I knew that at 100 2-minute conversations a month, if you are not willing to have those, I'm willing to remove you from the environment and have you not be a good fit. So our conversation standard is set pretty low, but it's also set to 100 for a reason. Our math shows that 100 conversations a month is a minimum of one closed escrow. And
Yeah.
so if an agent's willing to have 100 a month, they'll do one closed escrow a month, which we have about a 1.1 median price point for us right now. So 12 deals a year. you're a solid agent. So that's kind of how we have it lined out for the 30, 60, 90 is you've graduated camp, the tech, the 30-day, we're focused on your calendar, your daily routine, etc. The
Hmm.
60-day, we're deep in back end transactional. You should know your transaction checklist left to right with your eyes closed, just really easy. And the
Yeah.
90-day is, hey, we're going to take all of this extra stuff, everything off your plate, and all you need to focus on is running the plan. Is just running the winning plan.
So 100 conversations a month or 4 appointments per month. What were the other ones?
So 100 conversations, which once again, remember, that's not a call.
Yeah.
So a
It's a 2 minute
conversation for us is
conversation.
a
Yeah.
two minute call, or four met appointments, not
Appointments
set,
met.
but
Yeah.
met. So that means you met one new person a week. I think everybody on this Zoom knows if all of your agents were just meeting one new person a week, we'd all be in a great spot at the
Yeah.
end of the day. You'd end up in a good spot. And then the last one is, or you got an escrow. And so we
Escrow.
had one agent who had 25 conversations. She only had one med appointment, but she put that med appointment into escrow. So do I really care that she
Yeah.
didn't have the extra 75? No, not really. You know what I mean? You're good. You ran the plan and you
Yeah.
executed it. So that's why I say one of the three has to happen.
Can I ask you for a little something? So we recently built this 30, 60, 90-day plan, and it's actual 12 weeks for one of the clients. Can we just briefly go over that? I just want you
Yeah,
to
yeah, of
review
course.
it and tell me if this is legit. So week one, your setup, your license transfer, CRM, MLS, log boxes, and things like that, GCI goals. It already starts with 100 contacts added into CRM. So these are not conversations, these are just adding your contacts into CRM. What do you think about that?
I like it a lot because a part of ours is adding. So I like that.
So cool. On to week two, it's called market knowledge and lead generation. So we're this is the setup. Let's just view all the goals. We're starting to get them into previewing homes, listing consultation, buyer consultation process, open houses process, appointments met. What do you think about? Is that legit for week two?
Yeah, I like it. It's quick. Like I said, it's just getting them in quick. That's the number one metric I'm always looking at is speed.
So transaction management setup, neighborhood and pricing, and then moving on to week three, we're going into client conversations and relationship building. So essentially, just like you said, after those first 2 weeks, host an open house. Open house visitors captured and contacted. But I guess you're doing it right away on the scene. Meet local lenders, escrow officers, meet home inspector, financial planner, or CPA. So this is week three. I'm more in the field.
I like it. I know I like the meeting the partners. We do an automated email between all of our partners because obviously we want our agents using our partners that we're
Yeah.
partnered with. So I like the meet the partners.
And then starting week four, we literally just go into audit CRM and pipeline. And then you can already see appointments met, set, signed, social media, dials, conversations. And when you say conversation, I actually also mean conversation. So when you select activity type, we separate the dial. So you can see we have a dial right here. We also have connection, which is 1 minute plus. And then separately, we have conversation, which is 2 minutes plus. And those are essentially, you can see from week four is consistency and long-term growth, consistency and long-term growth. And then this team does some door knock, CMAs, and things like that. And essentially, it runs all the way to week 12, at which point we also told our clients that you have to decide if, based on the agent's result, are you seeing the future for them on your team or not? And the little gamified widget we use is by the end of, so check this out, Zach. I think you're seeing this for the first time. So when they're doing activities, so let's say they had a conversation, we put a value on every conversation. So we have a little system here where you can attribute a value to each activity. So you can say a dial is worth $39 and a conversation is worth 150. And this depends on your average commission per transaction. So you actually have all these values laid out for you. And every time an agent has a conversation, so they score this, and by the way, this is tracked directly from their FOB or whatever CRM they're using. this amount is added to their house. So the goal of the onboarding is to fill this house. What do you think about that?
I like it. Anything that you can gamify, I think is always a huge win. So that's why we like right after camp, we get their financial goal into the tracker. So then everything that they're doing is not for us, the team, it's all for them. Once again, what's in it for me, not what's in it for we.
Yeah.
So making it the house where it fills up and just making it like, hey, this is you getting to your goal. You said you wanted to hit is all it is.
You said you want 150K, no problem. You would need on a weekly basis 82 dials, 17 conversation, one set, one met, one signed, one pending. Go ahead. Oh, this is too much for you. Let's bring it down to like 100K. All right,
Yep.
now you need 55. This is a lot more doable. So they get to choose their own goals, of course. But this is something we use to gamify those first 90 days, and they can physically see how they fill the house, and they can see how every action gets them closer to their commission check, essentially.
I love
Um,
that.
so I think we're running short on time. I would love to keep that going because it's too many insights. Let's check our Q&A zone. My screen isn't showing. Should we be? Okay, let me fix that. How do I fix that? Desktop. How about now? Can you guys confirm if you see my actual screen now? Just put a thumbs up. Yeah, cool. So just showing you the coaching. So this is the 30, 60, 90 day plan. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then every week we can go in and we can say, I need 30 homes previewed. And you can put 30, you can put activity value, and then you set up your 12 weeks plan. And by the way, you're going to get this PDF in a second. So you're going to get this PDF in a second. But for agents, they see a weekly activities just like that. And every time they complete an activity, like I said, they don't need to manually track this. This is tracked via FOB. Their house starts to fill up with those, we call them pipeline dollars. So these are pipeline dollars, and they can see how they're getting closer to their first transaction. So instead of hoping and praying, they can see they need to do $9,000 worth of activities to earn $9,000 commission check, which is the average commission per transaction. And as we're wrapping up, I just wanted to find my slides first, right here. So everyone who's attending, you guys going to get a copy of everything we discussed with Zach. I actually have some tweaks to add because Zach gave us a lot of amazing insights. So I'm going to add them into this plan, and I will email this to all of you. It's totally free. You can take that and implement it in your business. It's literally has that 30, 60, 90-day breakdown. I will change it a little bit to be more in line with Zach described. Other than that, if you guys interested in this system that we ran our onboarding on, there is a little gift and promo code for you. And most importantly, I really wanted to thank Zach for taking the time and sharing all these amazing insights. Let's put some likes and hearts for Zach spending this hour with us and really just sharing firsthand all the best practices from a top producing team. This is rare when you get this stuff directly from the person who runs a successful team. So Zach, huge thank you to you for sharing all your best practices with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you for making an amazing platform.
Let's see if there are any last minute questions as we amazing. Thank you all. You will get the recording of this webinar along with the PDF. Go ahead, implement it in your business. If you need any help, agently.com. We're building those onboarding processes for you. Once again, Zach, huge thank you. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.